So what do you love most about fencing? I imagine you have to have pretty great footwork, or it helps you with your footwork.
Mhm. Exactly. For me, the most complicated part is uh, all the rules that come into the
Okay.
fencing because till now I didn't get all the rules because it's very complicated. It's about the priority, who is attacking, who is defending. A lot of footwork as well. You have to be very agile in your movements, and the most important, you have to keep the control of your body and your mind for 100%. And if you transport it, like, to the historical times where people were fencing, like really fencing, like,
Yeah.
uh so then you understand, okay, I will think about my job or some issues with, I don't know, apartment search or whatever, because I'm fencing. Otherwise, like historically, like if go back in the days, you would die. You cannot think about, you have to be fully in control of your body, your mind, your saber, your weapon. Like, it's the most beautiful part of it because it empties your mind like I've never experienced it before.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, that's something I've definitely been thinking a lot about. It's so healthy for an individual to just like clear your mind, whether it's going for a walk or finding whatever activity that does that. My question for you, okay, so how did fencing become a sport? Like, and when did like society shift between, like, did fencing exist in the 18th century in France when everybody was carrying around like swords and stuff? Like what was that about?
um yeah, so literally, uh fencing developed with a time, uh as far as I know, uh since the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
like the big uh this huge empire where everyone was not fencing but fighting with swords and stuff like that. Somehow it developed to the fencing you was talking about, like in the France, and later on it somehow developed to the fencing that we have right now. And for example, yesterday I've learned like insane fact about fencing, that in Germany, for example, in saber fencing, uh, women were not allowed to fence saber till 1990. So
Oh,
basically,
that's
till,
recent.
yeah, 30 years ago, they were allowed for the first time to do saber fencing. I mean, there are another two weapons, AP and one more, I forgot. So, and that's insane. It's like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
that's wild. So how do the skills, so you're learning on this particular sword, if someone handed you like, like a saber from the 18th century, would you be able, do those skills translate right away? Would you be really good with a sword?
Mm, I'm not really sure, but I guess that also all the characteristics of the swords um, has changed really a lot, and there is a big difference between like this sport kind of fencing and fencing that we're talking about, like in a historical way, where people like really fighting till the first blood or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can imagine to fence with it, but you have to understand that there are also rules in a sport fencing that we are learning, and they're developing continuously. Like, I guess every 1 year, um, some rules are being canceled, some rules are coming up, and you have to come up with it. But if we talk about real proper fighting fencing, that's another story, because yeah, it's not about rules, it's about your skills and about your empty mind, like really like this called art of being in the fight right now in this moment. So it's
Wow. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for
yeah,
you
thank
for
you.
doing that.